Can you guys hear us on Zoom? Can somebody give me a thumbs up or in the chat box? And thank you for answering. Okay, as people come in, we're going to get started. If you do not know where you are at Indy Senior Living Series, and I am your host, Lisa Treadwell. I'm the owner of Indy Real Estate Experts in Downsizing Indy, and we have a packed house today, so come on in. We're going to find everybody's seats. We have a packed house in person and online, which is awesome. This is what we like to see. We wanted to outgrow this room, and it's like we have this one. So, Indy Senior Living Series is a monthly event that happens every second Thursday of the month from 10 to 11:30 right here in this room. And many of you have been joining us for years. I see lots of familiar faces. We moved from a different location here for this year, and our goal was to outgrow this room from COVID and everything. We have about half of our attendees attending online. So this is the camera to say hello to the audience online. For you that are attending in person, if you will look at that camera there and just wave to our online audience. So we try to pull everybody in as best we can, and we're getting better and better at the hybrid meetings. It's called hybrid meetings. So, so I'm just going to give a few housekeeping items, and I have to pull up my spreadsheet so I don't forget. For the people who are here in the room, the restrooms, if you didn't already see them, are just straight out. There's a wall of people greenery out there, and it's behind the greenery. There's a water fountain out there too to refill your water bottles. For the people attending online, which is you all, if you have a question, you can type it in the chat box or raise your hand using the icon or start waving your hands, and either Sarah or myself will see you. If you happen to be on, if you called into the Zoom meeting, if you press *6 on your phone, that will alert us that you have a question. And then if you're watching on Facebook Live or YouTube Live, you can also type your questions into the chat box. And obviously, if you're here in the room, you just raise your hand or shout it out, and we'll get to you. It's very, we're very low key here. Just a plug for our next event. Again, I told you they're every Thursday, second Thursday of the month from 10 to 11:30. March is, honey, it's time to sell, or is it? So we're going to be talking about real estate as the spring market rolls around, which it seems like it never stopped. I don't know about you guys, but we have had the busiest winter since 2007. So this event is about $20,000 put on every year, and we could not do it. I do not have extra $20,000 to put this on myself. So we have a back row of sponsors here, and they are very appreciative of them because, again, we couldn't do this without them. So be sure to go back to the back room if you haven't, or the back if you haven't already, and visit them. They've got some educational pieces for you to grab, and you can keep those. Sometimes they have candy and pins and stuff like that too. So be sure to go back there and meet our sponsors. They're all people who I have either worked with personally. I know Michaelis has been out to my house personally, or we've shared clients with. So they're all, everybody's vetted out. Any kind of panelist or any kind of sponsor that we've vetted them out. We've done business together before in the past. So they have my vote, and you are in good hands with those people. So Thank you to our sponsors. And then stay to the end if you haven't registered for the drawings. We have plenty of drawings for prices at the end. If you're online, we are going to try to get to you too. We have a feedback form that we'll plug the link in for you. When you fill that out, that enters you into the drawing. So I think that's all. Did I miss anything?
Question form sheet, we will try to get them out of them.
Yeah.
So,
We had more people come than RSVP, which is totally fine, but we ask the RSVP so we print enough material. So if you're missing, and maybe you have a friend with you and you can share and you can give somebody the one that doesn't have a packet. Yeah, but in the packets, there's the questions that we're gonna ask intermittently between looking at items. And then we've also got a list of our sponsors there and a feedback form. So,
May I answer?
yes, go ahead.
Question I have for you and for Sarah, and, Lisa, if there's some questions out there that we can't get to, would you be so kind to either email them to Jess or myself so we could,
Follow up.
follow
Yeah,
up? Would that be okay? 'Cause
Yeah.
There's a lot of folks in here that may not get to everything.
Yeah, we're gonna do our best. And we're gonna say this disclaimer a lot of times throughout the show, the event today, the Antique-ish Roadshow. We're going to tell you that everything that we talk about in terms of value is a complete estimate. And it's the same as real estate. It would be the same as me telling you approximately what your house could sell for right now without me seeing it in person, without pulling the comparables. I can tell you what the average sales price is in the area. Ultimately, a buyer determines the value of any item. We can put your house on the market for what we think it will sell for, but for whatever reason, buyers don't like it for, I don't know, they don't like the orange shag carpet. And so we might have to either change that orange shag carpet or lower the price. And so those types of things, these are all estimates and there are no guarantees. These are not official appraisals. Did I say that? Okay. Okay, we're gonna say that a lot throughout the event because we are recording and we're gonna be replaying it back and we're gonna see it back. So we just want to set the right expectation because there's nothing worse than thinking you're going somewhere and getting something and getting something of less, than what you were expecting. So we want to really be intentional about setting that expectation. Okay, we said thank you to our sponsors. We're recording. We do have a camera on the audience. Everybody waved hi to our Zoom audience. We're going to try to keep you guys engaged as much as possible. Oh, for the Zoom audience too, I do have your mics automatically muted and your cameras off. If you'd rather have your camera on, that's perfectly fine. And when you have a question, we can unmute you manually. And you all can hear, yes, on Zoom? Good, okay, perfect. So let's get into it. We're going to start like this and go like this, like a snake. We didn't tell you that. We didn't tell these people that they're going to go first. So we're going to be as quick as possible and as efficient because we want to get to everybody and not miss anybody. So you are up. Go ahead and bring your item up. Want me to bring it up for you?
Okay, we're going to give you some values of what we think things are worth in the marketplace. Just keep in mind that it's a moving market and things are up and down. And some of the collectibles that were great value are not at this time. Here's a good example of a piece of Rogers. It is silver plate. And you can see it is footed. It's a wonderful piece. Sterling is up and the silver market is up. However, the silver plate market is still not. The estimate of this is probably less than $20.
Yeah, I just reiterating that I will go into consultations constantly and they'll say, we have silver, we have lots of silver and with silver plate, but still a beautiful piece.
It is really pretty. I'll take that.
Oh, sorry.
I'll take this. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
There you go.
Okay, so this is a Limoges piece. It's made in France. It's a vase. Oh. No. We're getting close enough. Okay, sorry. So this is a porcelain vase made in the most brands. I would say this piece would be worth about $25. Decorative art items right now are really popular. We have a lot of vintage and antique resellers. They are loving the home decor items. So I have a really strong following of vintage and antique buyers. So I see a lot of them really post these items back in their homes. It's fun to see these items get a new life, a new home. So I love the yellow on that as well.
Okay, now we can hear you.
All right, we got it back to her.
Okay, sorry. We had some technical errors.
And let me make it just a little bit of a entry, if I may. I'm in Jack Christy's auction, and Jess, it might be good to tell you who we are and what we do.
Oh, yeah, that was one of our questions. I got so excited.
You just put it down, put all the things out there.
Yeah,
When we're looking at your stuff, you go, well, I don't get where you're talking. What emphasis or what I'm coming from is the auction aspect of how we market that. So you can give us just a minute, it might make people go, oh, I get it.
yes, please do that. That was actually one of our questions.
Hi, my name is Jess Pittman. I own Flipside Estates. We do liquidation and we get homes cleared and cleaned and ready for real estate purposes as well. So we actually host in-person estate sales. We do online auctions, and we have a warehouse where we sell consignment out of as well. So lots of different options for your items.
Again, my name is Jack Christy. I founded the company 47 years ago, and we're primarily an auction company now. Again, things have all changed around because of COVID. We were a live auctioneer with 5 auctions, and we were 45 years, 2 years ago, and now everything is pretty much so online. Whether we're going to go back live or not, gosh, I don't know. I think people are confused.
Yeah.
Safe to come back? Do I want to come back? We don't know. So most of our business now is online, and the clients like it because we get better prices, and you can stay home and bid in your pajamas. It's great.
That is great. You have a larger audience too because you're online, right?
You know, and let me just make a point. I think this is important to say. With our collectibles that we work with, in the narrowing market and the age that we're dealing with, that's why we went to the internet. There's a greater volume of buyers out there. You know, I'm soon going to be 70 years old. I still remember the Hopalong Cassidy and all that kind of stuff. But some of these young folks, they don't know. I asked one of our employees the other day, they were wearing a stocking cap, and I said, what is that? I said, that's a toboggan. So I'm sorry, but thank you for letting us make that.
Yes, yeah, that was actually one of my questions. So I'm glad that you did that. So, and we use both of them. Again, no panelist and no sponsor is somebody that we've never worked with. So we work with you guys a lot. We appreciate it. So, okay, do you want to take the mic? Because I don't think you're going to wait for that.
What I have here, it's a 1913 edition of the Magnals, but why it's unique, it was dedicated and inscribed to my grandfather, and I've got a picture of my grandfather. And the one thing that I found really interesting was it showed the horse-drawn fire cage. But it is unique because it was.
This is a really great piece, and I love that it has a story behind it. And somebody that's going to want to buy this with the story with it, the pictures, like it brings more exceptional value to the item. So, I would say this piece would be worth around $50 to $65. And maybe even possibly more just because it has the picture.
One thing too, I just want to make sure you folks all understand something. When we say that's $50 or $60 in the marketplace, that is priceless to you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
That there's a lot of value in those pictures and the special story. It really is priceless to you. My mom collected Shirley Temple dolls, and they're like, you see what I'm saying? But they were so dear to my family. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, there's no price on sentimental value. So, Okay, I can say this, right? Do you, is that part of it or?
That's information describing.
Okay.
You were telling me about this a little bit, and I believe this is a rated gold. It does have value. If you want to stick around just a little bit, I can weigh this. I have an instrument, sort of thing. I would tell you, surprisingly, we just sold $40,000 worth of gold yesterday. And a lot of the twin century gold is only 90%. The modern gold today is 96.5. And the gold market is stronger than ever. It's 1843 yesterday, I think. And I could be incorrect. It does have value.
I've got some Morgan silver dollars from the 20s, I imagine. They're pretty close to 4 ounce as well.
They're 90% out. The silver is 90%. I would tell you, we just sold a large, we're selling more and more coins. It's amazing. The Morgans are $35 to $50. If they're BUs, which is very uncirculated, we were getting somewhere between $70 to $90. If they're Carson City, marked CC on the back, then the value is, oh God, 70 to 300. It depends on the particular one. So yes, don't
There's
discount
a lot
that.
of factors involved.
Here's a couple more things too. On your phone, if y'all have smartphones, there is a couple apps of what we use. We can tell you that today, in today's silver market, what that particular $50 is probably $10 if it's pre-1964. So I can give you that app. Hey, here's another thing too. Just a little bit of a gold nugget, if I may give to you. If you have a smartphone, if you go to Google and you can put Google Lens on there, and you can look at any particular item. I mean, I'm an old guy and I'm cheap. I forget a lot. And
Just
you-
using your resources.
Yeah, right.
It's not cheating.
and I can go to Google Lens and it will tell you about that particular item and what it's worth or what it's sold for on eBay or whatever. So if you want to see me afterwards, I will weigh this. This looks like it's probably over, it's not, it may be half an ounce. Half an ounce is about $900.
Great, thank you. These guys are so knowledgeable. You've got so many good resources and so much information. There's our next item. This is a sterling pen, 1885. Honestly, there's historical significance with it. A lot of times people that are buying sterling and gold, it's unfortunately can be what the mill value is. So I would assume that this piece would be worth about mill value probably like $5, but with the historical value on it, I would say closer to $15 to $20. Okay. I know all of you probably have stories behind your items.
I can't get mine off.
Okay. Oh,
I've been sitting here trying to.
oh, do you want? Okay, well, they can get up and come to you.
We'll
You
serve.
can't get it on the whole thing with her.
Oh,
It
sorry.
is beautiful.
Just gotta make it.
Woo!
I'm sorry, you're red.
You're red too. You guys are both red.
I've been married 48 years, so it doesn't matter. It's a beautiful ring. It's a brilliant cut. I have the equipment up here if you want to know clarity and all that sort of thing. But I would tell you, diamonds are.
Yeah.
This belonged to my husband's grandmother.
I really need to take a better look to give you some sort of value on it. Let me tell you something too. I'm going to step on somebody's toes when I tell you this. The younger generation is not liking or appreciating diamonds like we did. They would rather have a mix of it. I've got a niece that has a beautiful white sapphire.
Yeah.
And she loves that. She would much rather have that than a diamond. But again, you know, I love diamonds. My wife has lots of diamonds. But if you want to see me after a while, I'll give you a look. Okay?
Like the way diamonds
Yes, I would. Sycamore, yes.
My brother just got engaged, or he's engaged, and they don't have a diamond either. Her ring is beautiful, but it's a sapphire, right?
It's a sapphire.
This is my mom / helper on Thursday. That's why I'm looking at her.
It's kind of, it's similar to, I think Princess Diane's, kind. But it's a beautiful ring, but the center is the same.
I can attest as a younger person, I'm not much of a diamond lover in general. Actually, my husband posted me with it is a state piece, it's an antique Persian turquoise. And then I got a medium and has some little bit of diamonds on it, but I'm not much of a diamond person. I appreciate the look of it, but it's just not me. But to say that old jewelry is still very valuable. So because younger people want to repurpose, reuse, recycle things, they are buying these older things. So maybe they'll take that diamond and put it in more of a modern setting. So it does still have a lot of value.
Good. Okay, you see me over here strumming away on the computer because I'm trying to watch YouTube and Facebook and move people into the waiting room and answer questions on the chat too sometimes. And somebody did ask if we could talk a little slower. That's probably mostly for me.
You're actually an auctioneer.
Hey, I had a math teacher in junior high or high school that was an auctioneer, so maybe we would always get him to do his, is it chant, yeah, it was the funnest thing ever. Oh, yes, ma'am, okay. Yes, go ahead, we have a question. I'm gonna repeat it too for the online audience.
I couldn't bring what I wanted to today because it's too big and too. Firearms, antique firearms.
Okay, we have a question
I
about
would say
antique firearms.
We're a federal firearms license. We have it over 25 years. Let me encourage anybody. I have some cards and all that too. If you want to send me a picture, I'll be more than happy to get back to you as quickly as I can. But give me a day or two because we get so. We currently have 2 firearm auctions up. I'm going to pick up another 100 on Saturday. The firearm market is unbelievable, off the scale. So it's doing very well. Again, it depends on what you have. If you say you have some vintage or antique, they can do very well. So just send me a picture and I'll be more than happy to do that. Let me caution too. I was in an estate last Tuesday and the lady was looking at her stuff and she said, my mother died and he had 62 guns. I said, that's wonderful. She said, I just gave them away.
Oh, no.
And after I got up off the fainting, I said, you know, that's the liability and something like that. So I would just caution you, please don't just give today's environment, you know, contact somebody that's not me or a gun store or something, but you give them away. I actually had a fellow that was a Marion County sheriff last week, and he had called me, and I sold him a gun being a sheriff, and he was in a crime. He had to backtrack and find that gun, and he had to backtrack it and find where he had sold that gun. So again, we're just trying to give you some disclaimers here, what to do with your stuff. I mean, you think you're saving my commissioner, Jess, a great deal more liability than just saving a few dollars.
Yeah, one more question from Cynthia here. I'm gonna repeat it again so that everyone can hear.
I inherited from birthday 5 keys. Well, place setting, yes, we have. Get painted.
1901 and 1904 Haviland, white, gold plated, hand painted. No, this is Mercantile.
So we do a consignment program through Flipside, and we have a warehouse full of things, and then we have online stores as well. So China is one of those things that I do well with online. And unfortunately, the best way to sell it is splitting it up. So I know unless it's like a specific China set that is, you know, super value, and I mean like $5,000 worth, then we sell it together. But with common China, we typically split it up because people are looking for replacement pieces. That's the best way to sell it. So a set like that, I would say is worth probably, even if it's divided and sold up, probably around $150, $200.
Yeah, so this is a good time for that disclaimer again. And I wanted to add to the disclaimer, we all think our stuff is worth more than what it is. I think my house is worth more than what it actually sells for. We all do. It's
always gonna be a sentimental attachment to painting pieces, and we try to do, you know, give those items the most respect that, you know, they deserve. But the reality is that not everybody wants those things, and there is a small market for it. So we just have to be realistic about appreciating those items, and maybe just appreciate the fact that somebody's gonna love those items. Yeah. And they're gonna have a new home, and they're gonna get used. And not in the landfill.
Yeah, and they're gonna create their own sentimental values with that item, different from ours.
Right, exactly.
I'll tell you what, the younger folks, they aren't entertaining. We have 2 children and 9 grandchildren. We never bring up hard time. So that audience of appreciation and money divide stuff is not good.
Okay, we're on our next item.
Does this have a set of cups and saucers, or is it just a single one? Cups. 12 cups.
12 settings, like, oh, can I take that from her? Okay, so she's got a list: coffee cup, saucer, bread plate, salad plate, lunch, fruit dish, soup bowl, dinner plate, serving plate.
So yes, this is Nora coffee. It's a very common set, typically from 1950s, 1960s. It's beautiful. You're taking really great care of it. I would say about the same, $150 for the set.
It was made in Japan.
Yeah.
It was made in.
Yeah, so if we made an occupied Japan, it would be worth a little bit more money, but it's just from the perspective of who's buying it, how realistic that they're going to be using it. I would still say it's about the same value.
Okay. We don't need to hurt your feelings. We're telling you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear, right, guys?
It's a good piece of Victorian silver plate. I mean, it's very good. And Jess is she's unbelievably about descriptions and authenticity, that sort of thing. But again, not a lot of them. But I tell you, a few years ago, I wish we could go back 10 or 15 years because things were unbelievably expensive. You know, it was probably in that $20 to $35, I guess, maybe less.
I think that's about right. The Victorian silver plate though is a little bit more unique. It's more ornate. You know, it just kind of depends on the style and what's trending and what people are buying. So there is a market for Victorian decorative art. So I sold a platter like that for maybe $75. So yeah, I would say maybe about $40 would be the value of that. It's beautiful. You've taken really good care of it.
You know, and the craftsmanship, you just don't see that nowadays. So that
Yeah, it is really pretty.
it is.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. You're, oh, do you have one? Oh, yeah, that's great. I know I have some English china from my great grandma, and when you said it goes per piece, I think that's right. I find myself looking on replacements.com for specific pieces.
There's how many settings total? You have 12 plate settings. Yeah, that's pretty typical from China from the 50s and 60s. You would typically have 12 settings. So yeah, this is Noritake as well. I would say around $150 to $200. So, yeah, but I love the condition that you guys have kept these in. Yeah, all the gold trim is immaculate. So.
We'll take turns running.
While she's coming up here, here's kind of an interesting thing we found out many years ago. Up in Kokomo, Indiana, there was the Kokomo girls, and what they would do, they would have painting parties. They would go down to Charles Mayer, and they would get these blanks that were stenciled, and they'd have painting parties. They didn't have the internet, they didn't have Netflix, they didn't have any of that kind of stuff. And that's what they would do in groups of that. So a lot of times when you turn that stuff over and it's artist signed, that's where they have those parties. So you might see your grandmother's name on, you might see Lucy or Mabel or whomever on there. That's where that came from. You have some pearls.
Yeah. wanna take a look?
Is this the original box for the necklace?
Probably not.
Okay. If it is, Coro is a costume maker from the mid-century. Even costume jewelry has a lot of value to it today. There's high-end costume buyers. They especially love the stuff from the 50s and 60s. So I would say that you probably have a value of $25, $30 in this. Yeah, okay. Okay, so it's a lot older than,
Yeah, that's why I think the box is not.
not original to the piece. Okay. I would have to, I would say probably around closer to like $70 then. Like I said, even if it's costume jewelry, it still has a high value. So. A lot of times, it would be marked with a clasp if it was gold. If it had a gold clasp on it, it would, mark that it was like a higher value item for sure.
No, that's okay. This is just one piece. Oh, I don't have a set of
It's
that.
just one piece. Okay, this is
Just
just
one
one
piece,
piece.
a ton of other.
That's really pretty. I've seen a lot of younger buyers be interested in the carnival glass right now, so they really love that. That the other rainbow translucent look. I would say I would price this piece at an estate sale for $7 to $10.
I'll trade you.
Okay. We have a pocket watch here. Pocket watches are fun. They really held their value.
Can I tell you a little bit about?
Yes, that'd be
Your
excellent.
pocket open. It says it's an Appleton Tracy company.
I don't think I'm gonna watch much of this.
And I was, there's a serial number in it.
No, I can say they don't, you put the mic up there at my mouth.
It says the production date was August of 1859.
Somebody's talking in the background, can't understand that.
I doubt it, but I need to open the back of it and look and see. And I will tell you, there is a website, Pocket Watch. But it will tell you, if you put in the serial number and the maker, it will tell you exactly what it's made, like you have. And it will also tell you about the gold content. We have encountered many of these pocket watches that are marked 14 karat gold in one. I don't have the equipment to check it and see, but you could take it by any watchmaker or jeweler and they can tell gold. Or I can open up the back, or you can open it up.
To turn it on.
Sorry, I can't read that. Young eye. Got a little-
Fine.
Okay, I just wanted to know.
A lot of times,
Yeah.
it's hard to tell.
Not gonna make their words any more clear.
No,
It's beautiful though.
That is.
It's gorgeous.
You know, pocket watches, of course, if it's gold, the gold content is somewhere between, again, control with it. The common pocket watch closed space like this, we sold them last year. We had jumped 300 pocket watches. They were running between $100 to $125. But again, keep in mind that was grandfather. Yeah, don't say.
Yeah. It's fun to see these pieces though. That's why we do the things that we do, because we want to preserve history. We want people to keep appreciating these things. We want future generations to appreciate this as well. So I'm just saying we love seeing these treasures. So thanks for bringing them.
I moved the speaker to hopefully help. I will work on closed caption for next month.
A mink coat. Jack Christy's gonna model for us.
That's
They
all.
look lovely. Priceless. Priceless.
It's on the internet, isn't it?
Yes, it's on the internet. Can you do that again? In front of the camera? Yes.
This one is in really great shape. Oftentimes you're going to start seeing them dry out and rot and kind of fall in pieces, but this one looks great. I would be able to sell this at retail value for about $75 to $100. Vintage clothing right now is very hot. It's on trend. Younger people want to repurpose, reuse, recycle, like I said
get my
before.
first dress.
Vintage clothing is very, very, very popular right now. So.
That's why you're up there. Let's talk about these.
Have some bookends here. Those are really cool.
They are marked on the bottom. 1927 is what it says here. And from the Gift House Incorporated in New York City. It does have the manufacturer on it. I believe it's Bain or Bain.
BRDN. It might just be. Well, it says net. I wonder if it's. So it's definitely very 1920s craftsman style iron. I love the Western inspired kitschiness, of course. I love all that kind of stuff. Those are great, and it has the original paint on it, so that's even more special too. There's a little oxidation on the back, but that can be cleaned off. I would price those retail value probably around anywhere between $75 to $150. So I think those would do well like on an online market. So if I could sell it, in one of my online shops, I think I would get the best value out of it.
I would have bought those to decorate my son's room when he was a baby because he was Western. So I know they're great. No, I felt it. They're great. Yeah, they will.
They work as doorstops quite well.
Yeah. So I'm going to pause here and give you guys a question. What are common misconceptions of estate sales, auctions, etc.? Common misconceptions.
I would say just kind of a little bit of the what your idea is on value of things. So a lot of my clients put a lot of value on furniture. Unfortunately, furniture is really hard to sell. So unless you have something specific like mid-century modern, we are seeing a trend of postmodern styles. So stuff from the 80s and 90s, maybe with a younger crowd. Furniture is a hard sell. So I think that's a little bit of a misconception. But the positive thing of doing an in-person estate sale is we can liquidate every single thing in your house. So from the little things to the big things, it's going to level out because we can sell, some of the things that you wouldn't think to even try to sell. So, it's going to balance out for those furniture prices you're expecting. I like to tell my clients that the value of furniture is probably about 10 to 25% of what you probably afford originally.
Oh, I think we have an audience question. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Would you do a combination like an in-person estate and say your warehouse or an online?
The question was for everyone, would we do a combination of in-person and online sale?
Yeah, and that's the perfect thing and the unique thing about Flipside is that we will create a hybrid plan for you. So if you have some high value things, we can elevate those and keep them at a firm price at an estate sale. If they don't sell at the estate sale, then we can keep trying to sell it for you so you can get the highest value for it. So a lot of times those things are what brings people into an estate sale. If it doesn't sell, that's okay. We can keep going for you. So yeah, we have lots of different options.
Here's another option as we as auctioneers are doing. We're continually challenged and trying to, if you don't mind, break it. One of the things that we're doing now, we're finding out that the pressboard furniture and the modern furniture is underperforming. That is at the best. Now, here's one of the things that we're been able to do. I'm working with the lady who just passed away. She was the Warren Central principal. She lives in Acton, Indiana. Tremendous Victorian furniture and all, and that's not doing well. So what we're doing now, we're taking all of the small items out of a particular home, bringing back to our auction gallery, and we're actually using more time to get a greater audience out there to buy your things. So we're going to do the furniture. You're going to pick up the furniture on an online auction at her facility, at her home, which is going to cut down the cost of movement and things like that. So that's working well. We take the smalls back, but we have extra time and we catalog them and break it down to, that's just what we're doing. So things are changing. You had another question?
Along the same lines, I have a family piece that was a American piece of furniture. It's a sideboard, 1850s, no nails, screws or nothing in it. There are some flathead nails, I think, in it. 2 places. Due to unforeseen circumstances, the humidity in the house was not what it should have been, and part of it collapsed. I don't know, I can't afford to have it fixed, but I have all the pieces there, and it's just on one end of the base piece of it.
There is a furniture registration on the south side, and I think that if it's that important of a piece of furniture, I think I would spend the money, especially if you're going to keep it. If you're going to resell it.
That's the point. I'm downsizing or thinking about that right now. I don't know. I don't want to throw it in the trash.
Right.
No.
I think I just saw it as is. Not, and you won't unfortunately, many times you do not recoup the repair and the putting that furniture back in. It's just not going to happen.
I agree. Okay. Is there a piece of?
There's a
Okay, go
piece of
ahead.
Magelica out here. Do you want
I
to?
love
No.
this.
Okay, here's a piece of Magelica. Anytime I've noticed too, on this one, it has a chip on the bottom. You know, as old as this particular piece is, there are different manufacturers on it. Magelica is always good. There's a guy named Mr. Strausser up in northern Indiana that has a specialty in the Magelica. If this was in really, really good shape, it's probably, with the chip, it's going to cut it considerably. And then the chips and anything or any damage in the glass or china is going to significantly take down.
Okay. It's beautiful though.
It is.
Yeah.
Very rich. And there are Magelica collectors that only have Magelica.
So we've got a copper. There is, because the stamp is really easy. Oh, I have some.
Yeah, I don't think it's that as old as what it
Right.
used to be.
I think this is a piece that looks made to look older. So it might be vintage, but it's not antique, craftsman era where you would typically see these types of things.
Who brought it in? Can you tell us something about that? Because it's hard to hear.
It is. Oh, okay. Yeah, and the fact that it's copper too. But decorative household things are really popular right now amongst my buyers. So I would still value that to be like. It kind of has that shape.
I kind of like loving cup better.
Yeah, just more like a vessel, like you would maybe put like floral arrangement in maybe, or dry flowers or whatever. I would value that around $25.
Can you
It's
tell
pretty.
by the workmanship or something?
Yes, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, stamps are everything too. I mean, we can date something according to where it's made, where it's coming from. A stamp is going to tell its history, whether it's hand painted. Yeah, there's a lot of factors that go into, knowing what the age and the quality is.
This does not have anybody in it.
There's not a body in it.
There's no, but you know what? I've knocked a couple over in my time. And it's not good. It's amazing people who keep their ashes of their animals. Another piece of Bristol, I call it Bristol glass. Not a great deal of money here. We're probably 35 to 40. Also in my hand.
Would you could consider it an urn? Because I almost think it's like a biscuit jar. No, a biscuit jar? Yeah. Yes.
One little aspect about that vase or whatever you're holding right now. I was given it by my mother, who got it from this lady in 1946. Does that make any difference for it being older like that?
In today's market, no, but it does to you. Yes, indeed.
Nice and loud. I'm the one.
Okay, I'm sorry. It really doesn't have a significant value. The age, and I'm so sad to tell you about age, really doesn't add a lot of value to our antiques. This is wonderful. The bail is correct and the top is still there. So, again, it's not marked by any means, but it's a beautiful piece. And I have some gold flakes in my hand here. Can you tell me about this?
Start sale one, but I think it might be the lot.
Could be. A lot of these were souvenir or fake gold per se. Again, we could test that and see, but most of the time when they come in here, they were more souvenir type things where you get a lot of the servicemen brought a great deal of things. I'm dealing with a gentleman here on the north side, he's 96 years old, Navy veteran, and he had all kind of whimsical things like that he brought back. Married her for 66 years. She passed away, married another lady in the retirement center. So you got to watch out there. Those girls are on the prey out there in the business. Live with her a year and a half and died. True. He said, I never. Yeah, I'm dating going. He said, these women are everywhere and they got money.
Hey, we have a question online in the chat box on Zoom. It says, would a 12-piece place setting of Nortaki china from the 1980s be worth anything?
I would say something is worth something to everybody. So you just have to find that specific niche. Like I said, selling china online is really the best route to go because a lot of people are looking for replacement pieces to add to their collection or maybe their family's collection, or they want to gift a collection to their family member that's the similar pattern. So yeah, I would say it does well online, even from the 80s. So okay, so next we have an English figurine by Royal Dalton. It's called the Balloon Man. We see a lot of figurines in our estate sales for sure. This piece, I loved this company made these like little jugs too with like really caricature faces and stuff. Those are really fun. This piece I would probably value around $20 to $35 and would also probably be a good option to sell online too.
You used to get $350 for the balloon man and woman.
Wow. Speak louder, please.
He said you used to get $350
$350.
to $350 for videos.
We just sold Michael Smith, which was with the Indiana Treasury and he probably had 120 of these. And you're right, they were $20. And some of the character jugs that he had give $300 and $400, less than $40. So, did you invest in this? It's like the collector plates when everybody get $19.95 and 3 easy payments.
Yeah.
They're worth $3 to $5. Am I right?
Yeah.
I always like to tell people too, like, when you're buying things, it's because you love them and you're appreciating them in the moment. It's not to buy things to invest in the future, because antiques and vintage items are so up and down. What's trending now, next month is not going to be trending. So yes, it changes constantly. Yes, ma'am.
My late husband and I were always looking for a balloon woman.
Oh.
Would that be the same value?
Balloon woman.
My sister has one.
Uh-oh. Guys gotta get together, get it together.
Sold.
I didn't know you saw it.
It's my sister's, and she's in Evansville. I don't know.
I think we got an auction.
Yeah, I know, we've got a live auction right here. Maybe the two of you can connect afterward. It's her sister, so she can't speak for her, but maybe you guys can connect afterward.
She loves money, so.
She loves We do, we have an auction right here. I'm gonna pause for a question here. What items are selling well right now?
I think the market of mid-century modern is really, really hot. That's furniture, decorative art, jewelry, everything mid-century modern, everybody loves that. So I would say that's a popular trending item. I said earlier, postmodern is starting to get into that market as well.
Does it have to be a good modern?
Does it
or
have to be good
can it
modern?
be any modern?
So,
My parents
Yeah.
had like Sears and Roebuck modern.
so yeah, there is a difference between mid-century and mid-century modern. So something that's a little bit more design forward. So things that are made in Sweden, still American made things too. Teak is popular, abstract art, that type. The more design focused mid-century era stuff is really what's popular.
Not the colonial, not the colonial.
Not as much, but the craftsmanship is there. So as far as furniture goes, it lasts for a long time. People still appreciate it, but I would say, yeah, the colonial Americana style is not as popular. Yeah, but even the kitschy mid-century stuff is really sellable too, so.
Please share your email address with us.
Yeah, actually, at the end of this, I've got flyers and my business card here.
Great.
So my card, it's gonna have my email, the website and my phone number on
It
it.
should be on the back of your question sheet.
Yeah, on
also.
the question sheet, if you've got those, our panelists are Jess and Jack, their contact information is on the back, but also grab their cards too.
They call me anything. Let's repeat the question again, so
Oh, yeah.
everybody, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So the question was, and then we're gonna get to this art piece that somebody brought in, what items are selling well right now?
Well, here's some of the things.
Or what are customers seeking out, maybe that you don't have enough?
That's good, that's good. Firearms are always good. I will tell you, with our government and their wisdom, trying to do all kinds of stuff, okay? Hey, you know what? I'm gonna ask you for forgiveness first. But there is a new IRS regulation. I think it's worth, and if I can have 30 seconds of your time, if you folks are, here's what I am struggling with, and you're going to do, and I'm sure you know about. If anybody that sells it, let me back up. Anybody such as myself or Jess that come together and bring a buyer and seller together, we are required, if we sell over $600 for you folks, we have to get your social security number and turn a 1099-K into you, and you have to report it as income.
Well,
That is new as of January the 1st, 2022. It's called the American Rescue Plan of 2021.
Our wise government.
Yeah, so what I'm saying to you is just like my guy, my World War II veteran that I sold $30,000 for him. I have to give him a 1099-K, and he has to pay income tax on $30,000.
Oh,
What about the cost of goods sold?
If you take a receipt, you can deduct the cost of, and also any expenditures. I'm not an accountant. I'm the guy that has to tell everybody that I have to turn these things into. And forgive me for saying that. But I think that this may be the nugget that you get out of this seminar, that if you turn your stuff over to either one of us or anybody, eBay, Etsy, I can't even think of all of them, you're going to get a 1099K. It used to be if you had 200 transactions or a value of $20,000 if you sold on eBay, then they would turn a 1099K. I'm an auction company and I get 1099K for any credit card company that we use. But I'm just telling you, when you get ready to sell your goods, whomever you choose, you are going to be required to fill out your social security number and we turn it into you. So again, I'm the bearer of bad news, but I can't get away.
It's over 600.
If it's over $600.
600.
So you can sell half of a 12
Well,
block of China.
it's a cumulative of a year. So if we sell it 1 year and then you go to the next year, so it's okay. So again, folks, we're here for information. You know, I'm not trying to do anybody for.
Well, in the end though, that is going to increase your administrative costs, and it's gonna be passed on to the consumers.
So it's just like gas,
Yeah.
like gasoline or food or anything else. It's kind of crazy. Okay, don't be mad at me. Don't throw tomatoes.
No, that's good information. Don't shoot the messenger, right?
Sure.
I don't know which way this goes.
The lady brought this in. Right?
Oh, well, yeah, yeah, it's back there.
So this appears to be an oil on canvas painting.
Wow.
It's quite large.
Give this to Jess because she's an art student.
Yeah, my degree is actually in fine arts. I studied sculpture and art history, so that's how I got into the love of antiques and
I think
vintage.
that's Lisa.
Yeah, I'm looking for the
No
signature.
matter who it is, it's still.
So that always, tells a lot about a painting if we know who the artist is, where it comes from.
And work on your tab, on the,
It's great. It's really colorful. It's vibrant. Unfortunately, because it's not stretched on,
downstairs.
it's not stretched on a frame. Somebody will have to do that. So, and then it's because it's been rolled up, it has some cracks in the paint, but still, it's very colorful. Sorry, I'm standing in front of it. So, I would value this to be, without knowing anything about who the artist is, because that could significantly add value to it. I would say this is worth around $100.
If we knew the artist,
Yeah.
it could add a lot of provenance to it.
Right. And
Would it add any value if they did have it framed?
yes, like stretched
Stretched
stretchers.
on, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a question. How would you be able to verify if the painting is a true Bob Ross?
Some research for sure. If it comes from a specific artist that is well known, a lot of times people are going to have the paperwork that comes with it. So certificate of authenticity is important from that aspect. So okay. I don't see Bob Ross paintings, surprisingly. I see a lot of Thomas Kincaid, Glickly prints that people keep calling paintings. They're not paintings. And they spent $3,000 on it. And I'm like, unfortunately, that's worth about $200. So,
Sounds like a point of contention with you.
yeah, well, this is kind of funny when,
Yeah.
this is one of those things.
Okay, we have a question here and then I'll come back. Go ahead.
What is the value of a 12 place setting of like prelude?
International Sterling Prelude 12-piece set.
We just sold a similar set like that, and we were about $1,600, $1,700. I always tell people, they ask me what it is. I'm saying you're probably $8 to $10 per piece, per spoon, per knife. That's kind of a general. Again, the fancier pattern, the open. But that's kind of a general. Would you agree?
I have a set right now that describes that style, and I have it priced for $1,700 online. So I basically price it a little bit above what the silver value is in hopes to get a little bit more of a price, but most people that are buying silver, they're buying it to melt or, so it's just the reality of it.
Would you be better off if you just sold it to somebody who wants to
meld it?
Yes.
Would you be better off if you just sold it direct to somebody who wants to melt it?
They're gonna make a profit too, like buys, and there are dealers here in Indianapolis that just buy it, take it right to the smelter and do that sort of thing. But we both of us like to market it and try to get it into the hands of somebody who's gonna use it. There are still people that are using sterling. We love it. Yeah.
I would say I do have, I have some china from my great grandmother and we just use it. Like my kids will put ketchup in the bowls and use it to dip their chicken nuggets in. Cause I mean, what the heck? It's just sitting there, you know? It's
Glass.
cut glass,
Older cut glass.
older cut glass.
Is it colorless, clear? Yeah, it doesn't really have any.
A big picture, that kind of thing.
$5 to $7.
If they're marketing anything, it's Hawks, Libby, Scuban, anything. It makes a big difference.
Yeah, definitely who makes it will definitely determine the value. So if it's unmarked, it's probably going to be low on the lower value side. So
Here's an interesting, yes, we have a question. Okay. Let me address that because there are some things, one of the obligations I have standing in front of you people is to keep you safe and out of trouble, like selling guns. And decanters are something else too. We as auctioneers, I can't sell those decanters full of whiskey because I don't have a liquor license. Now I can get a liquor license for $50 and sell it like a wine collection or things like that. You can sell it, that's not a problem. Does it add any value to have the liquor inside the decanters? We have on many times sold them within the guidelines, and we can do that, of course, and it doesn't add a great deal. Sometimes the substance will take the value down. Yeah. But because a lot of the corks become dry, kind of nasty. I'm just going to use that word, nasty.
Age of guns, when does it become an antique?
Anything,
Age of guns.
antique guns, anything before 1896 is declared an antique, and you don't have to do paperwork on it. Any black powder, you don't need to do any weed, or you don't have to do any paper.
Any other questions? Yes, ma'am, go ahead. What is the best way to get rid of the decanter?
Well, you drink the booze first. Oh my, oh my.
On your own, or if you're using other people?
Why don't you?
They are beautiful. I mean, I have some of the
Yeah.
I've seen that one at a house. You push it down and the lady dances or whatever. I looked it up. I remember that house in Avon. I feel like I looked it up and it was like $40 or something. Yeah, it wasn't. I forget the brand. I even posted it on social.
You can't ship that. Good point, can't ship that. I mean, we both sell them, but you're gonna look at $10 or $20 a piece probably, you know. You can do Facebook Marketplace too. I have some reservations about that, and I have some pros and cons about that stuff too.
Okay, we have a picture here.
yes, we have a painting. This would be mid-century era. It says the artist is Robert Cox. These are considered, I consider them factory paintings because they would be like one person is painting this same painting like 50 times over. So it's a nice floral painting, oil on canvas, and I would price this around $25.
It is really pretty.
Okay, yes.
And Oriental rugs.
Oriental rugs.
Rugs, Oriental, Persians, they're still really, really valuable stuff. 1920s rugs. it just kind of depends on the shape that they're in, but yeah, they're very valuable still because they're not made like rugs today, you know, or rugs are not made like those were.
30 or something, I'm not sure.
Yeah, even if you had one and it wasn't in great shape and you had some repairs put on it and had it professionally cleaned, it'll still last for another 100 years, you know, so people are really investing in nice rugs.
17 by 11 is big.
So it's huge. Yeah. So, I mean, depending on the pattern, the color scheme, where it was made, you know, a couple $1,000s, it could be more than that. It really just kind of depends on, yeah, like I said, pattern, color, and maker. So.
Let me ask you a question. How big did you say it was?
17 by 11, the dark red.
Probably Saruk. I would tell you, we just picked up a bunch of rugs from the Benjamin Harrison home, and they were palace size, probably a little bigger than that, and they're hard to place because they're so stinking big. Yeah. I would tell you, our Oriental market is really fickle, up and down. So if they're worn, or they have ricing, which is white throughout the rugs, really take.
There's one little tiny weird spot where my father's was. He left his heels there.
Yeah.
It's from my grandmother's house, back in at least 1930.
And the next items we have, these are made in Italy. They're Capodimonte. This one has a cigarette tray in it. So if you open it, it's a lidded cigarette box. So if you open it. For sushi. You know what? You and my granddaughter would go together well. These are actually for cigarettes.
Oh,
Has their own.
Tobacco. But a lot of that tobacco is rolled, so you know. It would
Got
be
it.
bulk, yeah. Not a lot of value here. Again, condition needs everything, as Jess will tell you. This has a few chips in it. These are, you know, $10, $20. You just don't do well with Capodimonte. Most of the time, Capodimonte will get broken because they're so fragile with the flowers. And we've seen big urns and all kinds of stuff. They usually will get broken.
Any other items? I'm
Yes.
sorry, I didn't realize we had more. Okay.
I have,
These
there's
come
a
from our
lot.
attorneys back there.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. That's cool.
I have two more.
We've got a brass nutcracker. I can't say that I've seen one like this before. It's really unique.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Are these from Jeff?
No, those are actually mine. I inherited my grandfather's nutcracker collection. There's probably well over 1,000 pieces in it.
Wow.
I have no idea how to value them. I think it has to be a very specific person who's interested in purchasing
Right.
nutcrackers.
Yeah.
I
That's interesting.
can't even find anything about them. No one-
Well, maybe you own them all. Nobody else has any because you have them all. Yeah, like I said, I've never seen one like this before, so I would have to do a little digging, but I think if you were to do an online auction, that would be your best way to sell these types of things because you're gonna wanna find a really unique buyer for these. So based on just the brass and the detailing, I would say this is worth about $40, $45. These are really neat.
Jess made, I just want to interject here.
Oh.
Jess made a really valuable point here too. Specialty auctions such as your nutcrackers and some of the other things that we're doing. I just picked up a duck decoy collection yesterday. You think, who would buy a duck decoy? He's got price tags on there of $700 because they're artist signed and artist carved. So some of those specialty auctions, what we're doing the best at the online auction. So there's many different things like we do costume jewelry, and I mean, that's a specialty. So you have a collection here. Tell us about this.
Those are silver nut picks. The knife at the bottom is a fruit knife. Don't really see those being used anymore.
Sure. That would pick the pit
Yeah.
out of the peach. Help me here. Nice collection, nice collage you put together. You know, it could.
My grandparents were part of the collector association, so they would go to these.
Of course they were.
You know, this could bring 7,500, 100 a quarter, something like that, you know. But, you know, you brought up another point too, that the associations that we had many years ago, there were Royal Dalton Collectors Clubs. Those clubs are kind of went away. We're not joiners so much, even at the church and some of the fraternal organizations, we're not joiners. The younger folks are. Yes, yes.
I have hundreds of collections, but I've got one of 5,000 plus rabbits.
What kind of
Where could I
rabbits?
begin to go?
Rabbit
Get a hutch for
collection.
them or something? I mean, I need to get rid of some of them because I'm downsizing. My granddaughter wants some of them, but not all of them.
Are they Beatrice Potter? What are they? All kinds?
Everything you can imagine. I have a Coke can from Japan that has a rabbit on it. I have every rabbit stamp I've ever been able to put my hands on. I've got jewelry from several countries.
You know, I think I'd call Jess because she does such an incredible job. With specialty, that might be a good one for you to go take a look at.
He might be punning you off because of the size.
So yeah, we do, I don't do a ton of online auctions, but I do them when they are specialty collections or they do better online. So our online auctions do well. We highlight things, you know, professional photography, descriptions, condition detail measurements. A lot of my buyers that buy from online, they always make a comment about how well our descriptions are. So not all companies are willing to put a lot of time and effort into it, but if it's a special collection that needs to be highlighted, we make sure to do that for you. So I did a sale for a client a couple months ago, and it wasn't very fun, but it was a collection of, I had over 300 and it was over 300 lots of McDonald's collectibles.
I saw that.
Yeah, we saw that.
It was very unique, but it did well and people were very excited about it. We provided shipping. So, you know, that's another thing with an online crowd. If we can ship things out, then more money comes in. So, and also the money went to Ronald McDonald's, the Ronald McDonald House. So it was important to, you know, to give back. And so it was a special auction, but it was very special for sure.
That's interesting. Yeah, we've seen McDonald's collections, and I forget what I was gonna say, but we've definitely seen, oh, I know what I was gonna say for both of you. We've gone onto your sites and I will vouch for both of them in terms of how items are presented. And it's the same concept as like, you want professional photography if you're gonna be listing your house for sale. There's nothing worse than going to look at a house online and seeing bad photos. It's the same concept with your items that you're auctioning or, you know, for an estate sale. Presentation is everything because most of our buyers start their search online. And so you want to put the best foot forward, and you guys both do a good job of that from your sites. So
one of the things I didn't finish that question, some of the toys are very good in today's market. We just sold a fellow that had a red line Hot Wheel collection. Some of those were $300 and $400 for those Hot Wheels. So, you know, some of that stuff gets up in the attic. And I talked to you about your son's toys that he had taken already, and different generations. He was taking some of the Transformers, old Legos. The Legos are still good.
Yeah.
The boys love them.
you have a question in the back?
Once in a while, I stop at the States and all kinds of stuff, but some of them have guns. Somebody would buy one of those. Is it possible to check it to see if it's stolen or in a crime? Thing you wouldn't want to get involved.
If you just pop into an estate sale and you find some guns, how do you check to make sure they're not in a crime or stolen or something?
Well, give me just a minute to tell you about that. With the regulations from the ATF, which is the FBI and the NICS, we check everybody. However, there is a caveat in this, and to tell you about, you can go to a flea market, you can go to somebody's home. That's called an occasional sale, and you can buy that particular gun, and you're not going to know whether that way has been in a crime. Unfortunately, today, in today's environment, the vast amount of guns here, there's 300 million people in There's 310 million guns. And we've done studies on that. However, they're not one gun per house. There's many houses that have 0, and there's other houses like I just left where they had 160. If we did a Marion County Sheriff that had 435 guns in his house. I mean, it's just craziness, right? So it's really hard for you as an individual to check on that particular gun. If I were to do that, I would take it to a gun store or an FFL dealer. I hate the word dealer, licensee. And have them to do a NICS check on it. Unfortunately, we as Americans are not registering guns any longer. We are just checking the individual who buys that particular gun. Really hard to check the
Well, if
gun.
I were to do that, that's the damn big part.
Good. You're going to lose that weapon because they're going to do that. And here's another thing too. If you buy that weapon and you know that it's it happens to turn out to be an automatic weapon and not a single fire gun.
No, I've never seen that. You're right. I saw one. It was from, the guy brought it back from Nazi Germany. It was a machine gun.
Oh.
I said, I'll give you $100. And I thought, no, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Well, he wanted $500. I walked away. I said, thank you and all that stuff.
Let me tell you
Machine gun pistol from Nazi.
Let me tell you the ramifications on that. You can sell those with a class 3 license. I'm not a class of explosive and machine gun. There was a gentleman that he brought his father's Thompson machine gun at my back door and says, hey, can you sell this gun? And I said, no. Get out of Dodge. I sent him down to a class 3 dealer and that particular Thompson machine gun for $26,000. But you have to know.
But a museum buy something like that, or is that considered storage?
Usually a museum won't.
They're smart enough.
Yeah.
I think we have 2 more, one here and then.
Okay, we have an item Jess has, a ring, it looks like. Yes, it's got lapis stone. It's beautiful. I love that blue stone. You said it's 14 karat gold, right? Yes. It would depend on the weight of the gold. This is how you would price it. Lapis is not a super exotic stone, but it's gorgeous. I appreciate it. I would say this ring is probably going to bring you like 200, 225. And it looks like you have a picture on a cell phone.
Yeah. I'll switch you back and I'll show you. So, Miranda, you can tell us more, but this is it's a whiskey container.
Probably not as much, but I have the whole train set, plus the track, so it was a display at
So a train whiskey container with the track.
Does it have specific advertisement on it? Because that could be where the value is. There's people that are interested in just advertisement purposes. I think
it's Jim Beam.
Yeah, should be. If it's the whole set, how many pieces would be the whole set? Oh, wow. I don't sell a lot of that, honestly. I would probably say around $100, $150. Yeah.
Is there a market for a rope bed?
Rope bed. I'm sorry.
We're picking up one today over here on 86 and Emerald. And I had the attorney there and she said, somebody said that was a rope bed. What do you mean? I just pulled back the feather tick. Anybody know what a feather tick is? And I did, and it had ropes running through it. The last one I sold only wanted 50. Because who wants, I mean, that's uncomfortable on a feather tick on a rope bed.
I had a couple, oh, go ahead.
Talking about museums, I found some old pictures from about 1900, 1905 of the interurban up in Muskegon and Grand Haven, Michigan. And I thought, I called the Historical Society up there, found the museum, and they were grateful for them. They were so excited they didn't have that type of thing. So I've been calling places like that for some of my old pictures that I've inherited.
Old pictures at the historical
It's
society.
nice when those things kind of get back to its roots and it can find it's a new home where a lot of people can appreciate it and not just one household. So that's really cool that you like checked into your resources and really did research of where you could
put those items.
I think that's a good feeling and it's a win-win,
Yeah.
you know?
I know. I
The
would just
Indiana
throw them.
Historical
If they didn't want
Society
them,
would be
I said,
a-
if you don't want them, just throw them away, because that's what I would do.
There's a question in the back. Oh, that's a good question. What is mid-century modern?
Mid-century modern is items from mid-century era so that would be like late 40s to late 60s, I would say. That is very design forward. So it's going to be furniture, artwork, decorative art. Yeah. It's going to be more, yeah. It's gonna have more of a design aspect to it. So yeah, mid-century modern gets put in on a lot of things. I would say that's kind of in between modern and mid-century kitsch. That would still be really desirable for people that are buying mid-century furniture, if it's in really good shape. Yeah. Yeah, I could probably sell that tall boy dresser for like 200, the bed for about the same, and the dresser with the mirror probably another 250. Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, having the whole set it makes it more sellable for sure.
We see a lot of that furniture in the houses that we go through.
Yeah. It is typically lighter. It's not gonna be like a dark walnut color typically.
Okay, so one of the questions on your list there is how do we initiate their services and what is the estimated cost? I think we gave you their contact information to initiate their services. And do you guys want to go over a quick estimated cost?
How we determine that, is that what you said? So we could like to get the ball rolling with having a free consultation. So we'll come in and see what kind of value you have, the amount of items you need to liquidate, and what other services you need. So not only does Flipside liquidate your items through either estate sales, online auctions, or consignment, but we will also, you can use the proceeds of your sale to pay for the services that you might need to get your house cleared and cleaned and ready for real estate purposes, or whatever the next step might be for you. So that's kind of a unique situation where another company might come through and quote you, okay, it's going to cost $8,000 to $10,000 to remove all of these items from your house. And that's just how much it costs to get it prepped and ready. With Flipside, I've not had one client that's had to pay out of pocket to have their house cleared and cleaned and ready for real estate purposes. So they've used the proceeds of their sale, it covers it, and typically they get money back in the end still. So.
Well, again, our consultation is free. We also encourage people to send us pictures and on my cell phone or whatever. That kind of helps and see if we're really the right company for you. And I don't mind putting it out there. We're usually about 40%, you get 60%. There are some other costs, trucking and that sort of thing that we also, one of the things we kind of shifted away from is the trash removal. We use Fire Dogs. They seem to be a good company. And once we're through taking all of the saleable goods out of your home, then we just call them. The fellow I just told, my veteran up here, they haul 4 loads out. It was like $2,200. Now, don't gas. Trash removal is kind of pricey.
Labor in general is expensive. Yeah.
Absolutely. And our labor and trucking is all went up too. So that's kind of what we do that. Again, each and every individual client is different. You know, if you're in a higher end thing, we're doing about 20 pieces of farm equipment. Well, it's not going to be 40%. So each and every one, we do a lot of vehicles. It's a flat fee. We do all kinds of creative commission schedules for you. How do we get the most amount of money? And let me tell you something. Sometimes I'm not the right company for you. And what I'll be with you in just a minute. It's not long. One of the things I'm struggling with, and I just need to be very open and honest, and this lady back here, I certainly respect and honor in a great way. Struggling with the cleaning shovels, stuff when you've taken everything out. And I think you're not going to do that either. So we're trying to ramp it up as much as we possibly can to get you, because I don't want to send you a bill. I don't send anybody a bill.
Yeah.
That's kind of the benefit of having an in-person estate sale though, is that we can sell the shovels, we can sell, you know, the random things, and that's really gonna bring even more value to you. Things that you wouldn't even think would sell. I have people that come through the sales that are looking for a good deal for things, but also just looking for, you know, valuable things, things that they can add to their home, and they can't afford to go out and spend like an insane amount of money on new shovels, new lawn stuff. So, I mean, with having an in-person estate sale, it's really helpful to try to sell those things.
I agree. We should still take them, but it has to be pretty much a larger deal.
Laura, yeah.
Wanted to say. To shop. We're around Westminster. We're a retirement community, and I see a lot of you guys who are thinking about downsizing. Reputable people who have collections of their art. So I really, really implore that you look to get a reference on whoever you use. And if somebody says, oh, I'll only charge you 35%, where Jack's gonna charge you 40, and I would really, really look into their references. Because some people really take advantage.
That's a very good
I just felt
point.
the need to say
Oh.
that, guys, because I've seen it happen.
So Laura, just for our online audience, basically to put that in a nutshell, it kind of is, you get what you pay for. There are lots of scams, not just against seniors, but I mean, I can't tell you how many text messages I get just in a day about scams, about losing weight and getting real estate leads and recruiting and all of this, you know. So yeah, we're not the cheapest. I'm not the cheapest realtor in the city. And these guys are not the cheapest auction and estate sellers. But I don't think that in a scenario like selling your most prized possessions and sometimes the largest investment that you've ever made in your house, you don't want to just use the cheapest, you know, estate seller or auctioneer or realtor. You want somebody who's going to have your best interest in mind and really do a good job for you in quality service, and get you the most amount of money. Yeah, for sure. So you know how to reach out to them if you've got specific questions. And it's 11:26, and we have lots of gifts to give away. Stacy Funes from ClearCaptions, every month she makes a bag, personal basket, and did everybody who wanted to get into the drawing get in? Okay, we're gonna do Stacy's basket first, which I think is that pink bag, right? David T-Ball. All right, congratulations, David. All right, and then we have a red basket there that one of our sponsors brought, and Risa Stockton. Risa, all right. And then I'm going to give away a couple of the roses that are sitting there on your tables. Those are from Eagledale Florist, Tiffany Westler. She's my favorite florist in the city. These are for everything. Sandy McEwen. Oh, there you are. I see. I am really glad to see you guys. I'm like, I know that name. How are you? I recognize names and faces, but putting them all together sometimes doesn't happen after 6 years of doing this, right? And then, I cannot read this. Marcia Bear. Bear, okay, yeah, sorry, I'm getting aging eyes. All right, well, we really appreciate everybody attending online and in person. For your online audience, I submitted a link in the chat box for you to give us our feedback. If you're in person, you have a feedback form in front of you. You can fill that out and just leave it at your place set. We'll get it for you, but we really do value your opinions and feedback about the events, and we try to make changes and improve every single month. So we appreciate our sponsors, our panelists,
And next month, we're gonna be talking about real estate, and who doesn't love to talk about real estate? So be sure to RSVP, tell your friends. We do want to outgrow this room. There's plenty in this professional park, there's plenty larger training rooms, and we'd love it if we had to tell you we're moving to another address, even though I would stress out if you were gonna actually make it to the new address or not, because it's a big office park, but it's great to have a packed room again. Yes, ma'am?
T-shirts again?
What, t-shirt? No, oh, no. No t-shirts, no. Did I say t-shirts? I'm sorry, I'm trying to talk slower and louder for everybody that could hear, but. I just said, be sure to tell your friends and neighbors, be sure, t-shirt, be sure. There we go. Yeah. Because we want to outgrow this room and move to a larger room, that'd be great. Okay, so also check out our sponsors at the back. They've got goodies and educational material for you, so be sure to take that with you. And we'll see you guys next month in March. Maybe the sun will be shining, it'll be warmer. It'll be March, right?
Somebody out there to direct us.
There's nobody.
Do you have somebody out there waiting to let us get us out?
I didn't know you were still here. Yes, Stacy's here. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for tuning in.